Come on in. I'm going to be welcome, family. Welcome, family. This is your favorite info plug, RD Muhammad, plugging y'all in. We're going to give y'all a quick time to chime on in, as well as while I'm getting my lights and not being so dark skinned. But I want you guys to come on in. So while everybody else is coming in, this is what I want you guys to do. I want you to grab a piece of paper. I got to turn my mics on everywhere. There we go. Now you guys can hear me on TikTok. You guys can hear me on the podcast. Now, I want you guys to grab a piece of paper and a pen. Actually, grab quite a few sheets of paper and a pen, because we're going to be dropping y'all some game on one of the best hidden jewels that's inside of the Matrix. Now, I know you guys still think that I am crazy, but while we waiting on everybody to come in, this is what I want to show y'all, man. I'm going to tell y'all why this thing called Matrix has such a significant importance. And I'm going to be breaking this down for you so you can definitely know why we do this. This is just going to be a short clip. It's nothing that is out of the, not going to be crazy and cattywampus, but it's going to explain why we call this thing the Matrix. And I found this clip. I finally found the clip, and I am going to share it with y'all because a lot of people did not notice this in the movie. So let me get back over here to and I am wanting to share this with y'all. Let me get over here to the studio, and I'm going to share this page with y'all because this is going to blow your mind. This is going to blow your mind. Is it going to let me do it? Let me just get over here and click on this. I'm going to copy the URL. That's what I'm going to do. Now, while in the meantime, between time, I want you guys to be getting your paper and getting your pen, because I am going to be giving y'all a game this is going to be crazy. This is going to be so crazy that you guys are going to be like, whoa, wait a minute, Muhammad. Where are we going with this? And you're going to see exactly what we're talking about here. I wish that I can get into this without it's not going to let me pull it up. I got too many windows that's open. So let's not even worry about that. So we're going to get right off into the game. But now the part of the Matrix that I wanted to show you guys was this. Well, hold up. We're going to get to that in a minute. Now, the part about the Matrix that I want to share with you guys was this. It was that episode where Neo was in there with the architect. And the architect had the pen, and he was tapping the pen and all of these different monitors. Now, listen, y'all. That right there, let's just stop right there, because that was profound within itself. That pen, ladies and gentlemen, this thing right here, this thing that you guys are seeing right here. There's an old saying that says the pen is mightier than the sword. You guys do not know how true that statement is. The pen is mightier than the sword when you know how to use it. With the stroke of this thing right here, this can be the difference between you getting millions of dollars, which we're going to be talking about tonight. I'm going to show you about raising money as opposed to going and getting a loan. I'm going to be breaking this down. Raising money at a half 0.5 to 1% return. And I'm going to show you guys how to go and find people that's going to be getting you millions of dollars, depending on what business you're talking about. Now, but this thing right here is mightier than the sword. And simply by knowing how to use it, it can set your life different. But in the movie, he was tapping this pen. Then it went to where he told Neo when he first got in there. He said, the question that you want to ask is the one that is expected for you to ask, but the one that you want to ask is the one that is of the most insignificance and the one that is most irrelevant. Ooh, man, y'all go. I'm going to drop that link into the comments so you guys can go back and watch that. It's in the comments on the podcast. So he said the one that you want to ask is the one that is the one that's expected, but it is the one that's of the least amount of significance. It's the one that's irrelevant. And Neo asked them, why am I here? Which threw the Matrix off. Now, this is why I talk about this thing called the Matrix, ladies and gentlemen, because the question that most people ask when they come across either my content or they come across the podcast or they come across a live, however, the question that they ask is the one that I always expect them to ask. And the question that they ask is the one that is of the most insignificant and the one that is the most irrelevant. People ask the same question. How can I get that money? And it drives me so crazy because that's the one that is of the least importance. Now, most of the people in the movie, you had the option of taking the red pill or the blue pill. One was going to send you back to La La Land, to where you kept thinking that it is what it is. The one that keeps thinking it is what it is. That's all that is going to be. Or the one that's going to wake you up and teach you and show you, reveal to you that what you have been seeing is not real. Now, in some schools of thought, and I don't want to spook anybody out because everybody's not on the same learning curve as others. But if you guys have been paying attention, or if you have just been studying the least a little bit on in this cipher of life that we're in now, we're starting to learn a lot, which that movie should have. If you go back and watch that movie hit on a lot of things that I bring about into my talks, my lectures, my books, my if I'm on stage speaking, it brings out a lot. The Matrix dealt on vibrational frequencies. That's how they moved. Vibrational frequencies. Now, I don't want y'all to get, this ain't spookism. I'm not trying to tell anybody just come think the way that I want to think. I just want to wake you up. This is what the whole woke era is about, ladies and gentlemen. Waking up. We'll turn these notifications off real quick. Sorry about that. I apologize. But that's what this whole era is about. It's about waking up. If you guys do not start to wake up, ladies and gentlemen, you're going to be into a world of hurt. Notifications, let's find notifications. I just want to turn them off. Let's just leave them alone because I don't have time to waste time tonight. Now, When you start analyzing and breaking down the movie The Matrix, they move on frequencies. And frequencies, vibrational frequencies, are what keeps us in tune or in harmony with the universe. That's true science. This is not reaching. This is not spookism. This is not no crazy ideology. None of that. The radio that you listen to moves on a vibrational frequency, which we have now termed and become known as a radio frequency. Bluetooth vibrates on a vibrational frequency to where now we don't have to have wires. It connects through the waves. Your microwave, it vibrates on a vibrational frequency. Electricity. You ever go outside and listen? Not that you're going to just go out there and you listening, but have you ever been outside your house and you get around that electrical box and you hear that thing humming? Your electric meter, it hums. Or if you get around the transistor that's out there on a power pole and you hear it, that is a vibrational frequency that we now have come to know and all need and fall in love with, called electricity. So this movie, The Matrix, is not too far off from what I'm telling you now. So it also says what you see is what you not see. You ever been outside on a hot summer day and you see the waves in the atmosphere? Vibrational frequency, what we call heat waves. Everything moves along a wave and a curve, ladies and gentlemen. Nothing spooky. True science. 1 + 1 is 2 all over the world. What does that got to do with this business thing, Muhammad? Let me tell you something. It has to do a lot with it. Because in the movie, the Matrix, with the architect, is symbolic to an algorithmic system or program. And that program was and is the first program. And he says, if I am the father or the father of the Matrix, then the Oracle, she is the mother. Now, Neo's thing was, you were a mathematical anomaly. This is why when we talk, or you guys have heard me speak before, mathematics is the only true science, regardless of what your race, your age, your creed, your gender, your sex, or all of that, whatever. It doesn't matter who you are, what you are. 1 + 1 is 2. 2 + 2 is 4. It doesn't matter what religion, what politics, none of that matters. Mathematics is the only true science. It doesn't have a respect of person. It doesn't have anything. Now, this is when we start getting into, well, how did they create the program, the computer program? If you've ever studied computers or if you've ever taken any computer class, you are familiar with this thing called binary codes. Now, write that down, this word code, because I'm going to speak of it again in what I'm going to be showing you tonight with this PPM code that has been hidden in the Matrix. And it's the PPM code, ladies and gentlemen, is what we have come to know as, and I'm going to give you this, is called the private, let me get down here. And we're going to be breaking this thing down because you have been taught wrong. The PPM code is a private placement memorandum. Y'all write that down. Private placement memorandum. Now, somewhere on your paper when you're writing this down, I want you to write down each individual word, private on one line, placement on another line, and memorandum on the third one, right up under the name of it, private placement memorandum. I want you to go back and look up each individual word. A few months ago, I told you guys that words have power. Cat Williams said, we need to start understanding the meanings and the definitions of these words, because when you know what the word means, you know how to use it. Let that sit with you for a minute. All right. So when Neo finally figured out in this binary code, and binary codes are so simple because it's all zeros and ones. Now, depending on how the 0 and the 1 are placed in the binary code, it will detect or create an anomaly, which was Neo, or it can create a glitch, which was the FBI agent or the agent that was trying to kill Neo. This goes back into, even if you're in the biblical speaking sense or the religious speaking sense, when God created the heavens, the glitch was to create in the heavens, the glitch or the anomaly, the opposite was hell. I'm going to let that sit with y'all for a minute. Everything, ladies and gentlemen, where rich was created, the opposite was poor. Where left was created, the opposite is right. Up, opposite is down. East, the opposite is west. North, the opposite is south. So this was all done by the original creator. Where somebody is created smart, dumb was also created at the same time. It was created at the same time. So quite naturally, ladies and gentlemen, where God was created good, Satan was also created evil at the same time. Now, here is the best part about the creator and one who knows all and sees all. The overall goal, ladies and gentlemen, was not for you to stay poor. This is the game of the Matrix. This is the game. Choice was the glitch. That's what the Oracle figured out. Choice. Choice. We have the ability, unlike the angels, unlike Satan, we as humans have the ability to choose. Ain't that something? Not even the animals have that ability to choose. A dog can't decide whether if he want to go across the road or not. It just say, I'm going over there. And oftentimes, boom, it gets hit, ran over. It can be trained, but it still doesn't see danger. It doesn't see danger. It just see obstacle. Go, not go. Fight or flight. That's an animalistic behavior. But we as people, we have the ability to choose. We can choose if we want to stay broke or if we want to become rich. We have the ability to choose if we want to stay in the hood or if we want to go to the suburbs. We have the ability to choose if we want to work at this job or go get us another job. Nobody else on the planet has that ability of choice. The funny part is, it's also us who choose to stay in the condition that we are in. I tell people all the time, man, this is 2026. If you haven't removed from your thought process, or if you're one of these people that keep saying it is what it is, this life is not the life for you. This life is not the life for you. Because you have already made up in your mind. You have already chose that this is all that life has for you. And you don't even want to, that's the type of mind frame and thinking that says, my mama was in the hood. My grandparents was in the hood, the projects. My dad was in the projects, so I'm gonna be in the projects too. This is just what it is for me. They have already chosen not to try. They've already chosen not to try. And they have already chosen that they just gonna complain and it's everybody else's fault why they are the way that they are. Ladies and gentlemen, in 2026, we are not in Jim Crow. This is not the Jim Crow era. 2026, this is not slavery. This is not segregation. Ain't nobody putting their foot on our neck. I don't care what type of situation and environment you are in. Nobody can stop you from reading. Nobody can. For those of you who are watching on your cell phone right now, ladies and gentlemen, do you not even know that you have a computer in your hand? This is why people who take my course, this is a learning course. And I am not one of those influencers or not one of those coaches that's going to sit here and do it for you. I would love to just take your money, do it for you, get you out the way. But here's the problem with that. You didn't learn anything. You don't know how to protect it. You don't know how to file your taxes. You don't know how to separate your entity, you from the entity. You don't know. Most people that start these businesses, ladies and gentlemen, here's the one thing that they do. They go and take the money out of the business and put it into their personal account. Ladies and gentlemen, you as wrong as two left shoes if that's what you're doing. Trust me, I know I did it. I did it. What that does when you do not separate from the business, this is what that does. That throws you in a higher tax bracket. You just married your personal money to the business money if you're still working a job. And they counting your business as extra earned income. That shot you automatically to the next tax bracket, and you're not making as much money because you're taking from the business and adding that to your personal. So the IRS is automatically set up and designed to go with the job you are working on first, and they treat the business as extra earned income. So if you are making $85,000 a year and your business is making $45,000 a year, the IRS looks at that and say, "You making $130,000 a year. You are making $130,000 because you're not filing the business taxes. You taking all of the money and put it into your personal." If that doesn't happen where they are married to two incomes, now you just set yourself up for tax evasion and tax fraud. This is why I don't just do and set people up. I give all of my clients that option. I can teach you how to fish, or I can give you a fish sandwich. Which one you want? Ladies and gentlemen, you'll be surprised the number of people they want the fish sandwich. 6 months later, or at the turn of the year when it's time to file taxes, they calling me again. Man, what did you, how am I supposed to file these taxes? Bro, you done already paid. My service is done. I tried to tell you that back then. And then they get upset with me because, look, you don't get no more time from me. You paid for my time. You didn't want to learn. And this is not something that you can just learn in a hot little 2 to 3 hour class. I don't do no master classes. Ladies and gentlemen, it is literally impossible for you to retain and learn all of this information in a hot little master class. Y'all hold on, gotta turn my arrow. This game don't work like that. Then they have you tied up all night on a Zoom link. And it's so much information that they're throwing. You can't retain all of that. It's information overload. Information overload. Then you got everybody else who is on that line chiming in with their 2 cents, throwing it off. This is why I don't have nobody answering no questions when I go live. I give a lot of time frame. Now I tell people to write their questions down because I don't want you to forget. Jot your question down. Post your question. I'm going to get to it. I can always scroll back through and read the question and give you an answer. But the thing about this, ladies and gentlemen, is about this matrix, and I tell, this is what the part that I'm getting to. You can't cheat a system that you didn't create. You can't cheat this system that is 250 years old here in the wilderness of North America. These people that created the system that we are under right now, they brought this system from the old world. They've just been recycling. When you watch the movie, The Matrix, he tells you, this is our 5th time. 6th time. Neo made number 6. So there were 5 other Neos before Keanu Reeves, and each one of them thought that they were the one that was going to change the system. How many people out there you know, man, just because they getting a hot little, they done finagled and played their way? Everybody knows somebody that has tried to cheat the government. Food stamps, Medicaid, Medicare, WIC, all kids. Everybody knows somebody who has done that, who has tried to cheat the system. They might get away with it for a little while. But what happens is they always get caught. All the way down to you sneaking somebody into your HUD house, your project. You got somebody living in there, or even just an apartment that you're renting. You got somebody living in there helping you out with bills, but they ain't put their name on the lease. You always get caught. You can't cheat the system that you didn't create. You are allowed to get away with it for a certain length of time. But then when they come, boom, it's problems. And the question that most people ask me, and this I'm going to say my point because I'm going to get right here to this PPM. Private Placement Memorandum. Y'all got to look that up so you can know what we're talking about here. Now, people ask, how can I get that money? When they find out it's a securities trust that's being held at the Federal Reserve, Now, I want y'all to let this sit with you. I want y'all to let this marinate. Because some of you that might be watching, some of you that might be following via podcast or via live, y'all have asked me this question, and I'm going to tell you how I know that you aren't serious about this. You ask the question, how to get the money for yourself, but you don't ask, how can I free my children up? You don't ask, you never ask, how can I free my husband or my wife or my mother or my brothers, my sisters? How can I free my family up? Nobody ever asks that question. And I'm sitting here thinking, you selfish asshole. Now, don't get me wrong, because I have been teaching this for 15 years, and there's people that's in my family that have never asked. And they know I teach this. They look at me and see how I live. And they never ask. But they always like this. I get it. For some. My two daughters, I've been trying to get my two daughters to come down here. My two daughters are millionaires and don't even know it. They don't even know it. My oldest knows it. Whether she believes it or not, that's not my bag. And I've told both of them, all you have to do is come stay 1 year with Daddy. Learn this business so you can know how to protect your money. But guess what? If they never come, it's okay. It's okay. Because what they don't know, they will never get their hands on that money. And can't nobody do nothing about it. See, that's when your irrevocable clause kicks in. Can't nobody change it. Not even a federal judge. Not even the damn Supreme Court can go in and change it. And they'll get pieced out. Pieced out. One wants to sack groceries at a grocery store, and the other one don't want to do nothing. But it don't matter what they want to do. Choice, ladies and gentlemen, choice. We all wake up with a chance and a choice. The chances you are given are solely based on the choices that you make. You can't sit up here and say, man, Muhammad sitting up here, all they want to do is gatekeep. All they want to do is gatekeep. What choices have you done to prepare yourself? What choices have you made to prepare yourself to receive this knowledge that I'm supposedly be gatekeeping? I don't own the damn gate. I ain't even build a gate. See, you start losing people when you start getting real. It's called sweat equity in the business world. Nobody's going to give you any loans. Nobody's going to invest in your business if they see you don't have any sweat equity built up in it. You can't go to a bank with just a hot idea. The book called Bible says there is nothing new under the sun. There is nothing new under the sun. You think you're the first one? First of all, that's just naive thinking in the first place. Because what you are looking at is just in your area. Man, ain't nobody doing this. How can somebody fix their mouth to say nobody, no one on the planet Earth? I ain't never seen it. You haven't been everywhere. The average person has not even left their city limits other than to go on a staycation. Not a vacation. They ain't vacated nowhere. They went on a staycation. They stayed in town, in their state. I mean, even when I was living in Alabama, people thought that they were doing something by going to Panama City and Gulf Shores. Oh my God. You went right over the state line, literally. If anybody ever been in Alabama, you go straight down 59. You cross over Foley, Alabama, Gulf Shores, and you go right into Pensacola on 98. Or you go down 231 through Montgomery, you cross over Dothan, and boom, you right there in Panama City. Literally, you cross I-20, you in Panama City and Pensacola, and people think that they own a vacation. But then they'll tell you, man, I just need somebody to invest in me, man, and because ain't nobody doing this. Have you Googled it? A lot of times when I'm consulting people, I'm sitting there Googling their idea. And then I sit here and find pages and pages of other people that's already registered business doing exactly what they're telling me. And I'm like, bam, somebody already doing this. Man, I ain't never seen nobody do this, man. Fam, look at this website. Look at this website. Look at this website. Now, I hate to let all of the air out of their sails, but this is what happens when people, when you don't have any sweat equity. And if you are a person who is so lazy that you won't even research your idea, research it first. The Smithsonian, the Library of Congress, the Trademark Council, or the Congress, people have had these ideas that go back hundreds of years. Hundreds. It doesn't matter about people having the same idea. But here's the thing. What are you going to do with your idea that's different from theirs? You know how many look, when Goodyear came out with the tires, there's only one way for you to make a tire. A rubber tire at that. When Goodyear came out with the tires, did that stop Michelin? Did that stop Pirelli? Did that stop Trues and Vos? Did that stop Wrangler from making a tire too? It don't matter what Goodyear did. There are ample other tire companies, and each one has a specific thing that makes them different, whether it's the tread pattern, whether it's sticky, or whether it's a hard compound. How it grips asphalt versus how it grips concrete. The longevity, the thickness of the tread. Can it be retreaded? See, all of these are things that make each in particular company different. And I say this all the time, and then we're going to get right off into this thought. Don't look at who else is doing it. Nobody can do it like you. Do y'all know how many influencers are out here talking about this very same subject? It's a lot of us out here talking about this same subject. I know that nobody's going to do it like me because it's not another me. What was that rap song? Can't nobody do it like me. Nope. And I can't do it like them. You guys follow me, and you guys tune into me, and you guys subscribe, and you guys follow the page because you like the way I give it. I don't come out here with a whole bunch of 15-letter words and try to sound all Harvard scholarly. I don't have no letters behind my name. I am one of you. I came from you. People who know me can bear witness to that. I didn't come from no money. I was born and raised in a 16 by 90 single wide trailer on 4th Street in Gaston, Alabama in 1973. I didn't come from no money. We didn't have no new furniture. My daddy would reupholster furniture. It was new to us, but my dad would go out there and find furniture on the road, which is where this is where I get my hustle at, on flipping furniture. I was right there with my old man when he was at that sewing machine at the kitchen table. Man, I didn't take no home ec in school. I was already on it. But back then, in that time, during the segregation and during the struggle, they couldn't get people to go out there. Black people couldn't go and buy stuff. So they had to learn how to do that in order to survive. Now, if my old man had had the mind that I have now, we could have had our own upholstery shop. This, I'm one of you. Now, here's the thing, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get right down to this. And we're talking about the private. Let me get back down here again. And I'm going to give you some things to go and look into, because this game right here, ladies and gentlemen, is a diamond in the rough. This is a diamond. And then we're going to open up. I'm probably going to go to 8:15, 8:30 tonight. So the last 15 minutes, we're going to open up your questions. We're talking about a private placement memorandum. It's also known as a PPM. Now, I'm going to give you guys the quick breakdown, then we might going to split this up and do a part 2. A PPM, what it actually is, a private placement memorandum, is a legal disclosure document used when you are raising money from investors without going public. It is governed primarily under, write this down, Securities Act of 1933. Y'all hear that again? Securities Act of 1933. We're going to be with this word securities trust, securities fund, social security. We're going to be with this for a minute. And all of this is tying into how y'all can get this money. Now, Regulation D, exemption. It is governed primarily under Securities Act of 1933. Regulation D, exemptions, Rule 504, 506B, 506C. Now, basically what you're saying is, here's my business. Here's the risk. Here's what you can gain. You're talking to investors. Here's what you can gain, and here's everything you need to know before you give me your money. Sweat equity. An investor, ladies and gentlemen, listen, and I'm going to save a lot of you a whole bunch of time. If you're looking for under $10,000, this game don't apply to you. Especially if you're looking for monies under $5,000. You don't even need to apply. You don't need to apply for a bank loan. Ladies and gentlemen, you can save $5,000 if you got a plan. You do not go to a bank. A lot of y'all don't even understand why the bank ain't giving you no loan. Your business, for the business that you're trying to tell people that you want to start, and the amount of money you asking for to start it don't match. And the reason why it don't match is because you haven't done any sweat work on finding out what that business needs, how much equipment you need, what the equipment costs, what building you're looking at getting, how if you're renting a building, you don't have the building rent wrote down. You want to sit there and tell, I got it all in my head. A bank don't want to see. The bank can't see what's in your damn head. An investor can't see what's in your head. You have to have this stuff wrote down. Some of y'all might remember this term, a business plan and a business proposal. You got to have the business breakdown. Some of y'all don't even know what your admission statement is. What is the aim of this business? All of these are the hidden things. What you see is not what you see. Now, in today's time, since so many people trying to get access to their securities trust, guess is what the Matrix is doing. It's tightening up them screws. Oh, no. This ain't the 90s no more. The 90s was the best decade in the history of people starting businesses. The 90s were. The 90s was sweet. Even sweeter than under Barack Obama. Boy, they started tightening up during the Obama era because they started bringing up these things that's always been a part of the system, but there was a little lax. Some of y'all might not even remember, but during the 90s, there was an economic boom. There was a baby boom because more people was making more money. So more people was, listening to R. Kelly. Just being for real. And a lot more people were making money. So it got relaxed a little bit. Y'all know we had three, just for the sake of conversation, even though it didn't amount to nothing, but we had 3 minimum wage increases during the 90s. No other president ever had a minimum wage increase. Bill Clinton had 3 in 10 years. 2 terms, really not even 10, because you're going to run for president for a 4-year term. So he was in there 8 years. He had 3 minimum wage increases in 8 years. Now, here we go. So now they're tightening up. And the underwriters are looking a lot more with a magnifying glass now. You want to open up a nail salon, but you only need $2,000? Huh? It don't make sense. You want to open up a barbershop or the car detail shop. See, all you looking at is the cost of that sunlight dish soap that you can buy from Dollar Tree. You already got the $5 buckets in the rags. But you don't even know your waste prevention. You don't know your plus and losses. I can tear apart anybody's business model in less than 3 minutes. Just on the things that you don't know. If you are a detail shop and you can't tell me how much soap is used on a full-size pickup truck, you know why? Because you ain't never thought about it. All you're doing is going over there squirting soap in a bucket. If I'm an investor, that's wasting my money. Huh? I want to know how much soap is being used. I want to know how long does it take for you to detail bumper to bumper a full-size car. How much do you charge to fully detail? Do you know how many people who have a detail shop and they don't even know what a full detail is? A full detail, ladies and gentlemen, also includes the engine, the trunk, and the undercarriage. All the way down to taking the spare tire out the trunk and cleaning it. A full detail is where you take the wheels off the car. And you are running that it's a brush that they use to clean the barrel of a gun, but they also use them to clean tires. So they'll run that, they done pull that tire off there. You can run that brush in between them lug nut holes. If you got spoke rims, you take that brush and run that in between each spoke. That takes time. See, no sweat equity. Because all you think, oh, shoot, man, it'll take me about 30 minutes. 30 minutes? 30? On a full detail. When there is a guy, and I told somebody that I know, a brother that owns Exquisite MAD, MAD, Exquisite Mobile Aviation and Detail. So he does cars and airplanes. And I was telling him about the guy that was over in Dubai that keeps the owner's car for 30 days. For 30 days. And he charges anywhere from $50,000 to $200,000, depending on the car. Because now, here's the thing, every car has its own specific paint. Every car uses its own specific clear coat. And you up here squirting sunlight, dish soap from the Dollar Tree on a Bentley, man, you will piss me off. You putting Platinum Dawn, which is a degreaser that pulls all of the elements out of clear coat. See, some of y'all detailers didn't know that. The soap you use pulls all of the minerals and the stuff that's in the paint, in the clear coat to protect the car. Your soap is stripping the car. And then you go in there tell my man, all I need $2,000. Bruh, it's going to always be a no. Now, let's get back to this PPM. So, why you need a PPM? Legal protection. This is the big one. A properly drafted PPM protects you from fraud claims, misrepresentation lawsuits, investor disputes, and it proves you fully disclose all risk. You fully disclose all risk. This is sweat equity. Any business that I had come up with, this is the legwork. But you woke up one morning from a dream that God told you and God didn't give you all of this information in your dream. You have a hot idea. There's one key thing in every business: location, location, location. Where have you spotted? Where have you scouted to put a business at? Let me tell y'all something. Black people are the worst at business location. Did you know you already box your money in by trying to keep it real and be a Black-owned business? And you put your Black-owned business in the Black neighborhood and then not even understanding that Black people are not going to provide you with the lifestyle that you want and that you need, but white folks are too scared to come over there? I don't tell none of my clients Black-owned business, woman-owned business, minority-owned business. See, these are things that the matrix throws out there to make you feel some type of way, but it's of little and of no consequence. Nobody gives a crap. Nobody gives a shit that you got Black-owned business. Can't y'all see what color I am or what race I am? It's the information that's coming out of this thing right here. That's what's most important. It ain't my race. I have been around a lot. I have been. Hey, man, let me tell y'all something, man. Every time I go, I'm a fly in the milk. Other than they brown liquor, I'm the only thing brown in the whole entire house, other than the liquor and the furniture. But it didn't stop them from giving me this information. It didn't stop them from giving me this game. Don't nobody give a crap that you a woman. What that supposed to mean? You gonna do a better job? No, nobody give a crap that you a veteran. You don't get no sympathy points in this thing if it ain't making no money. Do y'all know how many businesses closed down because it was black owned, woman owned, minority owned, veteran owned? Don't look, ladies and gentlemen, I've been in some situations where them folks, they done talked to a person so wet and they was in a wheelchair. Don't nobody give a crap. Well, my money. In this life, you can't sit up here and take money from an investor and then you start, man, well, my daughter was sick. My child had to go to my child T-ball game. It was me and my wife's anniversary. All right, congratulations, it was our anniversary. Well, my money. That's the cold side to this business, y'all. It's the cold side to this business. Especially, you know how many times, now see, I built my business up to where I can take my leather business. I built my business up to where I can demand a deposit. I don't start on no leather work. A deposit I send it to you, you got to pay me the rest. Here's the thing. For people who contact me, you've already seen my work all over the internet. If you wasn't interested, craftsman, call me. That's how I review it. But when you call me, you already know. I already know you like my work. You like what you see. And now here's my price. I have been in this business long enough. My price is my price. Price. They're going to do the same work, give the same quality at a cheaper price just to make some money. You can't tell your investors that, because when you start taking some money, you still got to pay them investors all their money. And if you got to pay them all their money, guess who is going to suffer? Boop. Boop. Because you have to pay out. Now, here's the thing that's different with this people. Let's go back in here and cover this, because I want to keep it stay on time. All right. 15 minutes. Access to capital is why you need it. You can legally raise large sums of money from accredited investors, sophisticated investors, and private financial investors. Now, what does this mean? And why is this game so fast? Let me tell y'all something. These are wealthy people Remember when I told y'all that there are 2 tax seasons? One for W-2 employees, and the other one is for business owners. At the end of every year, generally from September to December, wealthy people are trying to find a way to hide money. That's a bad choice of words. Well, people with money are trying to find a way to not pay taxes. I don't know if that's better, but that's just real. I do it myself. Here's the term that you should write now. It's called deferred taxes. D-E-F-E-R-R-E-D. Deferred taxes. It doesn't mean that we are not going to pay taxes. It just means we don't want to pay them now. So we're going to kick them on down the road until we come up with a nice dollar amount, and we'll pay taxes on that. Now, here's the game. If I'm an investor and I got $100,000 over that the government is gonna make me pay taxes on $100,000. This is just for an example. I don't want to pay taxes on this $100,000. So what do I do as an investor? I start looking for businesses that are looking for capital to start their businesses. I take my $100,000, roll that over, not as earned income, but as investment capital into this business. See, this is how the tax code works. You only tax on what you earn and what you own. An investment is haven't earned it yet. This is how the matrix plays. So I take that $100,000 and hey, Robert, I just got the email in the video where you were looking for an investor in this business. I mean, I like the way the business sounds. I like the numbers. I like the projections off of it. I love what you're doing with the community and blah, 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 blah. You know, they always coddling. They always fondling and fluffing. The real is he got $100,000 and he don't want to pay taxes on. That's just the real game. Are you still looking for a partner? Yes. Then here it comes. This is how you know. This is how you know is deferred taxes. I just want to be a silent partner. I don't want my name on nothing. But send me the contracts. And there's a different contract for an investor because you can't put his name on no business. Because if you put their name on a business, on any of the business paperwork, now that's being reported to the IRS that he has another avenue of making money. See, but other people don't want to do that. They just want to stay quiet and silent. They just want to stay silent. They don't want to take their money. They want their money to make money, and that's it. So now, and here's the greatest part about it. When you set up your PPM the correct way and you let them know all the risks, see, now here's the thing. That thing is more itemized. Boy, that thing is more itemized than a nonprofit because you got to tell these folks where their money going. You got to tell them when they're going to make their money back. Anybody ever watch Shark Tank? They want a percentage of the business, sometimes a little greedy, in perpetuity. That's what that word means, forever. Perpetuity means forever. But they want to take their money, throw it at you, let you do all the work, and you pay them for making your dream come true. It can happen. But you got to have every T crossed and every I dotted. You can't sit here, well, all I need is $2,000. Oh, shit, man, that ain't worth my time, man. I still got $98,000 I got to find something to do with. Here we go. Why you need it? It solves the investors' disputes. So when it's on paper, everybody knows what's what. a lot of people don't go this route. One, because their business is still a proof of concept. You can't bring a proof of concept to an investor under a PPM. You can't. This business had to already be proven. That's sweat equity. You done already did everything that you can do. You just need the capital to push it to the next level. That's what they're there for. Now, the access to capital, here we go. Number 3, professional credibility. When you present a PPM, you look like a real operator, not a hustler. Not even going to investors. Think about that when you go to a bank and the bank asks you what your business is. Some of y'all sound like hustlers. And then they go to asking you these business or using these business terms. And then you go to farting and burping and stumbling and fumbling over your words. And then you don't know what to tell these people. You come across like a hustler and a con man or just a regular dumbass. Banks, attorneys, and investors take you seriously when you go in with a PPM. Compliance with the SEC rules keeps you aligned with the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission. Remember, I told you that word securities is going to come up a lot. Securities means guaranteed. It's secured. What's inside a strong PPM? A real PPM is not just paperwork. It's structured protection. You have an executive summary, a business model breakdown, the use of the funds, the risk factors, the management team. If you ain't got a management team, you can't be a management team of one. Financial projections. See, and I told y'all this a long time ago also. Businesses aren't based on actual earnings. This is what makes being your own corporate. This is what makes, even when you LLC your name. See, when you go under your personal world, when you go and apply for loans or credits or whatever, you can't lie about your income because they ask you, what is your monthly income? What is your yearly income? You can't put $5,000 a month on there as a monthly income, but then you're only making $48,000 a year. Trust me, I've seen it. You're like, what? Your math don't math. Or you making $3,000 a month, but your annual salary is $115,000. What? Your math don't math. Again, you can't cheat a system that you didn't create. There is checks and balances on both sides of that equal sign. What's on the left side, y'all done learned that in school, what's on the left side has to equal what's on the right side. It has to be balanced. You can't cheat that. But you just happy that you got in there to fill the paperwork out. Your financial projections are not based on actual revenue. It's based on what you think the business will turn, where you think the dollar or the revenue should be at. Now, the hardest part about that is, even off of the projections, let's just say, look, and I tell people all the time, even when you are in your own business, your magic number is $10,000 to $15,000 a month. The average person, those of you who are watching, those of you who are listening, you're not making $10,000 to $15,000 a month. So why is that the sweet spot? Because annually, that's $100,000 to $120,000 to $150,000, $175,000 a year. That's the sweet spot. Well, man, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to make that. Break that number down. This is why the person who's sitting up here talking about they out here chasing after a bag, they don't know what a damn bag is. People out here talking about they want millions, their mind can't even comprehend $100,000. So let's break $100,000. Let's break down $10,000, $10,000 to $15,000. Let's take the low number, simple math. Let's take $10,000 a month. If that's the magic number in the sweet spot. All right. Here's the thing. Oh man, let me get to it. Let me get to it. There it is right there. All right. This is how you break this number down. You take $10,000, you divide that by 4 weeks in a month. You need to be making $2,500 a week in order to hit $10,000 a month. Now, there's 40 hours in a traditional work week. So let's just stick with that number. 40 hours. So we're going to divide that by 40 hours. And that number is, you need to be making $625 an hour on a 40-hour work week. Did I do that right? No, $62.50 an hour on a 40-hour work week. You need to be making $62.50 on a 40-hour work week. Now, you break that down even further, and let's just break this down into quarters. So every 15 minutes, you need to make, hold on, let's do this the easy way. Every 15 minutes, 0.25. Every 15 minutes, you need to be making $25 an hour, roughly. For every minute, you need to be making $2.50 an hour. I think I did that right. 625, divide that by, let's just do it by 15. $41.67 every 15 minutes. $41.67 every 15 minutes on a 40-hour work week, which is $2,500 a week, which is $10,000 a month. Now, when I coach and teach people this system, I say you need to have a product that you can sell that's at least $41.67. Let's round it up. $42. You need to have a $42 product that you sell every 15 minutes on a 40-hour work week, and you'll be making $10,000 a month. See how easy that is when you break the numbers down and not focused on $10,000 a month? All you need to focus on is $42. Generally, when I tell people how to do that is, all right, look, if you got a detail shop, you need to be washing a car every 15 minutes. And you got a $42 price point. $42 price point. You can be making $10,000 a month. If you got a t-shirt business, you need to be selling 2, 4, 6, 8. You need to be selling 8 t-shirts an hour at $21 per t-shirt. So you're selling 2 t-shirts every 15 minutes. Now, here's the part that we're going to require you to do some work. You got to stay connected and find out what people are interested in. Now, I have multiple businesses. So now you can see why it's easy for me to hit $10,000 to $15,000, $10,000 to $15,000 a month easily coming from multiple streams of income. I don't put this burden all just on one business. No successful business person has one income stream. Anybody that's successful has multiple income streams. You might have heard this term called a portfolio. They have multiple ways of making money. So if I need to make $250 an hour, guess what? I sell 2 belts an hour. If I need, so let's break this down. I'm selling 4 t-shirts an hour, 1 belt an hour. I'm doing 1 training class an hour. I've sold 3 books in an hour. Another one of my businesses, or I done picked up a client from the airport in the transportation business. I done drove them in an hour. I'm over 250. Y'all see how that works? Let's keep it moving. But it's all based on projections and not based on actual income. Now, this is where the discipline part comes in. The discipline part comes into that even if I make $700 in 1 hour, if I make $700 in 1 hour, I just don't say that's 250 and I get to keep the other 450. It doesn't work like that. No, I spread that 450 out over the rest of the hours. Now I don't have to grind as hard. I'm still gonna keep grinding, but I know that 700 got split up over an 8-hour day. So now instead of me focusing on $42 every hour, I just need to make $50 an hour. This is how wealthy people don't be getting stressed out over the money. Not like we do, because here it is. If you got a job and you an hour late, ooh, your check looking funny. Anybody on a regular 40-hour work week, you making $1,000, but then you miss a half a day and your check then went all the way down to 7? Make that thing look funny. Let's get back to it, y'all. And then we get ready to wrap this up. So a strong PPM, you have an executive summary, business model breakdown, use of funds, risk factors, management team, financial projections, offering terms. What are you willing to offer for them to give you that money? You got to give up a percentage, or you got to give up a certain dollar amount. How are you going to pay them back? Monthly, per quarter, annually? Subscription agreement. The risk section is your shield. The more transparent you are, the more protected you are. So you got to come to this thing butt naked if you're going to be asking people for money. You can't be hiding no secret and hidden agendas. You can't take that money and go pay your car payment that you've been late on. You can't take that money and go pay your mortgage or your rent. You can't take that money and go buy your children Christmas. Don't nobody. Hey, investors will have your ass locked up. They will have you locked up. Now, here's the thing, and the last point that we're going to make. The best way to get a PPM done, I'm going to give y'all the don'ts. Then I'm going to give you the do. Don't download please don't do that, ladies and gentlemen. Don't copy someone else's PPM. And here's one, because I know somebody think that they're smarter than the average bear. Don't use ChatGPT. That's how people get sued. That's how people get sued. With all of the wonders that AI has brought to the universe, this is not one of those times that you want to use AI. This is not. Here's the do's, and then this is it. Do. Hire a securities attorney. Look specifically for a securities lawyer, a private placement attorney. I just told y'all who to look for. And then I'm going to tell you why. They understand Regulation D exemption, investor compliance, and liability protection. This is their wheelhouse. They already know. And then here's the greatest part about this. This is what this game, and this is what I was ultimately getting to. And then we're ready to log out. You guys can start dropping your questions right now if you want to start asking questions. When you do a PPM and you get a private placement attorney or a securities attorney, they already have a Rolodex. Trust me. This is my retirement, y'all. This is why I decided to open this game up to y'all. I've already gone through it. They have a Rolodex of investors. They have a Rolodex. Ooh, it's unlimited. It's sad the amount of wealthy people that just want to throw their money at something. Y'all, hey, listen, man. When you wake up and you start seeing the wealth of money that is out there waiting on you just to make the right choice. Ladies and gentlemen, there is a wealth of money that's out there waiting on you for you to make the right choice. Now, these attorneys, these lawyers, they have already heard every kind of game that it is. So don't think that your little idea is not going to be worth getting access to millions. Lord, man, when I tell y'all millions. First of all, you got to get out of that frame of mind that it is what it is. You can't want to be successful and still think like a broke ass person. They can't, those two mindsets cancel each other out. These lawyers have access. And then here's the best part. Your payment structure is less than the amount of a loan. The return are less than what you would pay on a loan. It might be one investor out there that say, man, I don't need the rest of them. Y'all done heard this on Shark Tank. Hey, look, I don't need the rest of them. I'll give you the money myself. That's how rich people think. They don't want to split their Robert, if the business is going to bring this, and this is what you are standing to clear every quarter, I don't need them. I don't need them. I'll give you all the money myself. Works for me because I don't want to send out 4-5 checks. I just want to send out one check. We got a beautiful relationship. Then the next thing comes out their mouth is this business scalable? What? Write that term down, ladies and gentlemen. Scalable. Scalability. If you have a business that is scalable, let me tell you what that means. They want to give you some more money to start that business in another place. Y'all don't understand. That's when it's life-changing. That's when it's life-changing. When they started using terms like, is it scalable, or what is the scalability of this business? They want to know how high can this thing go? That's one when you know you done did all, you done crossed all your T's, dotted all your I's, you done did all your leg work. You just looking at doing it in one location. See, that's how money thinks. Money thinks in multiple locations. Man, can this thing be done in California? I don't see why not. The way that your business, your model is set up. You got to put some work into that business before you even present it to the world. You just can't wake up one day and say, man, I want to start my own business. It don't work that way. You got to go through you got to take them folks through the minefield. Hey, man, don't step right there. That's a bomb right there. That's a hiccup. That's the only thing. The only thing that can stop this business, that why I'm telling y'all about this PPM system, is if the Lord come back. That's the only thing. My retirement, this ain't boasting or bragging. This is from hard freaking work. 1.375 annually. Retirement. Retirement. I'm 53. If the creek don't rise and the Lord don't come back, and God willing, inshallah, in 5 years when I turn 58, it's a wrap. Now, somebody should ask me, wait a minute, how long you been working on that? I've been working on that business for 3 years, doing all of the leg work. Signed contracts with companies before the economy got bad. Signed. I know everything from how much it's going to cost to even, I know everything. With some slight adjustments because the economy has gotten bad. So you got to equate in there. Now that's giving you a 5. Let's just make it reasonable. That's going in, let's just start from 12 to 15% fluctuation costs. Cost of living, any problems that's going on overseas or with even with the oil. So delivery is going to go up a little bit. That's that 12 to 15% right there. But the mathematics is 100. So when an investor see that, now another thing with the PPM system, don't try to sell emotion. Nobody cares about emotion. You ever saw that episode of Shark Tank when people get on there and they get to crying and swelling up, and then Mr. One says, man, be a man. And then there you are on TV, you like, well, I feel what they're going through. That man don't care nothing about what you crying about. He want to know how much money he getting. Let me tell y'all something. And then I'm searching for anybody with a question. Nobody on the podcast with a question. Let's go back to TikTok. Questions on TikTok. Questions on TikTok. Discuss the business strategy. Shout out to C. Lloyd. Shout out C. Lloyd. Matt's 033. What's going on, fam? Thank you for tuning in. One message. There we go. One message. That message is, let me see, accept requests. No, we're not doing no requests. What we're going to do is I want to see the messages. The messages. Hold on. I'm getting to you. I see you guys are dropping questions now. I'm getting to you. Explaining the private placement to raise money. a long time watcher. Thank you for watching. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. If you like what you've heard, ladies and gentlemen, and you think that is good and just beneficial to you, please subscribe, subscribe, share the channel. Please support the channel because it goes a long way. And we're not even done yet. We haven't even knocked the top of this discussion off. This is going to be like a multiple series under this understanding these hidden gems, because there are a lot of things, ladies and gentlemen, a lot of things that you aren't even privy to. What's happening, Brenda Burnett? Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for the flowers. Appreciate you. Thank you for the love. Breaking down a $10,000 business model. Okay, appreciate that. I'm getting down to your questions. I see that there's 4 questions that's popping up in here. We're getting down there to it. Nope. I don't even see where you guys asked a question at. Let me get in here. I don't see where those questions are. I can't find them. So either I'm doing something wrong on somebody just put a quick something in the messaging section and let me try to tap it and pull it in that way. It don't matter. Just put anything in the comment section and I'll see. But if it's about joining, no, we don't do joins. I just want to answer your questions and give you the information. So right here on TikTok, please, sharing how to secure funding with private. Okay, those are AI summaries. If you have a question, just put a question mark in the comment section so I can tap on to that link and find out where it is for those of you who are on TikTok. But anyway, there's ample money where you don't have to get a bank loan, family. I am adamantly and vehemently against bank loans. You don't need that type of pressure as a new business. That bank does not understand the X factors, the unknown. They done already set your payment date. They done already set the amount. Banks are not in the business of loaning money. Banks are in the business of making money. The banks have found an investor. The banks get the same Rolodex, but the system is set up different between banks and a securities lawyer. It's set up different. The banks are trusted because you're going to pay the bank and then the bank going to turn around and whoever invested, the bank going to send their money. So they operate more like a secured creditor. But see, when you're doing a PPM system, you're talking to the person themselves. This is why you got to have all of your information down. This is why I'm the info plug, ladies and gentlemen. I give y'all the information that you need in order to help you be successful. There is no reason why nobody should be broke. Not in 2026. If you are broke in 2026, please understand it's strictly voluntary. You want to be. Let me tell you the 3 levels of finances, and then we're done. I'm going to start at the bottom. Broke people work for the weekend. That's all. That's as far as they can see. The weekend. You know people like that right now, even on your job. They can't wait till Friday. Man, I'd be so glad when Friday get here. Because that's where they mind is on being off work or partying their money up. They don't have a plan past this weekend. That's broke folks. Your middle class people, all they worrying about is paying their bills and keeping their credit score above a 650. That's all they think about. Those are the ones that have been on a job for 25 years. Those are the ones, they protect this man's job like it's their company. Yeah. Y'all done seen them type of people. Y'all know them type of people right now. Boy, they got a hot little supervisor position and they think they the damn owners. Man, why you late? What? Man, get out my face. And they actually feel that they looking out for the best interest of the company, and he get a paycheck just like you or she. What? And they so stupid, they don't even realize they working more hours than the people. Boy, supervisor is there an hour early, and they leave an hour late. And they act like they own the company. If this was the slave days, they would be the dadgum Stevens. If y'all ever saw that movie Django, Stephen protected Calvin's house better than Calvin did. Y'all know what I'm talking about. But all they worried about is paying their bills on time and having good credit. That's the second level of financial literacy. Now we get to the rich and the wealthy. They create a product or a service that solves everybody else's problems one time and get paid off of it multiple times. Oh, that's some game right there. Oh, that's some game. Y'all see why I love this thing? They create a product or a service because Stephen then brought back the problem that he done heard from the employees. He create one product that solves everybody's problems, product or service, one time, and gets paid off. The broke people will buy it every week to make them feel like they rich. The middle class folks, they will finance that product and he get paid off of that forever. But the one thing those two groups of financial mentality don't see, the one who created it, he don't even own one. Have y'all ever seen the man who owns Louis Vuitton with a Louis Vuitton product? Huh? The man or the woman who owns Gucci, Balenciaga, have you ever saw them in any photo wearing any of their products? No, but you broke people got one, even if it's fake, because it make you feel like you have arrived. The middle class people, they look down on the ones who minded at the Amoco because they went to Neiman Marcus because they got a Visa Gold card and they making payments on it. Y'all, we got to look at this thing, man. The Matrix. He told him, he said, this is our 6th time on a reset. And we have gotten quite proficient at it. The system is not designed. You're not going to do anything different after these 250 years. You're not going to do anything different. Nothing. You can't. It's going to start over regardless. I thank y'all for tuning in, listening, man. Listen, even after this, if you didn't want to open up and ask a question publicly, I wish that I could find those that had them. Oh, there it goes right there. Now I need to click onto this. 22 new messages. 22 new messages. Where are those messages at? How do I pull up the messages? Somebody that's on TikTok, tell me how can I pull up the messages? Tell me how I can pull up the messages. I know it's on here somewhere. I'm still getting used to setting up TikTok. So, notice board. Is it on notice board? I catch a headlines. Nope. It's not there either. I know it's on here somewhere. It's not showing me anything, y'all, about your questions. If these are just invites, what I'll do is I will go back. I know I'll see them once I log off. And then I would just answer you individually. So please hold up. See, even you telling me, I'm seeing that I have messages, but I can't read them. I can't read them. I can't see them. So it must be something that I'm doing wrong. Podcast. I'm gonna log off on podcast. If you guys want to continue the conversation, come on over to TikTok on the page. Favorite info plug. I'll be right over there. See y'all on the podcast. Let's go over here to TikTok.